Hello and welcome to Berwick Speedway's Total Access Show with myself, Scott Frame, and of course, Greg Blair. On this week's show, we'll preview this weekend's matches against the Scunthorpe Scorpions for the Bandits. But it's been a bit of a break in the fixtures, but we'll be glad to get back on track as of Friday night down at the 𝗦𝗏 Raceway. Greg, a bit of a break in fixtures, as I said, but we go to Scunthorpe and good fettle, I would say, although we lost Dale in our enforced break in the fixtures. Tom Spencer steps in for him down at Scunthorpe. I'd say the rest of the guys looks as if Cookie's enjoyed a few rest days as well out in Spain. So looks as if the guys are getting in a bit of fine fettle.
Yeah, they are indeed. That some of them have been riding, some of them have been having a little bit of a break, and overall, if the guys who weren't riding, as Cookie, if Cookie felt like he needed more time on the bike, he would have done that. But I think a break sometimes is a good thing to have. I watched last week. Daniel Hume was guesting for Oxford. He put in a great performance at Oxford, making some lightning fast starts. So we don't have a great record at Scunthorpe, so we're really going to have to, cross the fingers and hope that everybody is on the ball. One thing I'll say is Tom Spencer coming into the side. Let's cross our fingers and hope that he's got a little bit of that Leon Madsen magic. We saw Leon Madsen in the Grand Prix over the weekend, really showing that he deserves to be there. Maybe Tom's got that kind of thing going on as well, where he feels like he needs to be in the championship. So it'll be a good night for him to really show what he can do.
As you said, the Bandits have found it quite tough going down at Scunthorpe in the past. Scunthorpe really strong at home. I would say they've got quite their track, although there is a lot of riders that like going there. There's also a lot of riders who don't particularly enjoy going to Scunthorpe as well. They do appear to have that kind of home track advantage, and they've had some good results at home this season so far as well. If I look at their BSN campaign, I think I voiced my opinion on the kind of Talk Speedway podcast that we do. I felt as if they were robbed a wee bit, not getting through as the kind of lucky loser, so to speak, as the team to go through in second place. But it's on the road where their struggles have really came, but at home they opened up against Glasgow, drew that, lost the super heat in the end there, but just looking through the team, the team's set up to be good at home, I would say as well. Really, really strong from 1 to 7, or solid, I should say, from 1 to 7. When you've got a guy like Simon Lambert, the captain, at reserve and almost a 6-point average, I think that's where their strength comes from. It's their strength and depth, really, isn't it?
It is, when you look at what Simon's been doing, he's not had the best start to the season, but now is the time for him to build up that confidence. I also think that the Kennedys are, both of them are going pretty well. I think that them being in the main body of the team shows the confidence that they have. So yeah, it's a strong team, but Berwick can kind of just go there almost underdogs and give them a bit of a fright. I think that that's something that we could potentially see. But I can imagine Stuart Dixon's team talk at the start, and I'll keep this clean, but it'll be somewhere along the lines of, we need to go in there, we need to hit them hard from the off, and that'll be it. And I think that gate picks as well, the coin toss will be crucial as well, and we'll be hoping to win that and hoping to get a good result for the coin toss, because some tracks it matters, some tracks it's you can go for the heat 15 option. We see a lot of riders do that, several tracks that they go for the heat 15 option, and that kind of tells that the gates aren't that much of a thing at the start, whereas Scunthorpe, it's crucial. So we need the first win of the night to be that coin landing the right way.
Absolutely, and we've seen Drew and the CLRC down at Scunthorpe. I thought he had a pretty good meeting there, and I think it was just his last couple of rides were impacted by kind of engine issues that he had. So he looks as if that he's won, and he's had a fantastic start to the season, Drew. Cookie's another one that goes well round there as well. So you would be hoping, I mean, looking at last year's kind of cup tie, that was really a bit of a disaster for us when we went down there. We wouldn't be looking for a repeat of that, because ultimately, looking at it, you want to take the bonus point at the very minimum. We're going there looking for all points, obviously, but if you're looking at the 2 days as a whole, getting a home win and getting a bonus point is the kind of main aim, really.
Yeah, it really is. You know, the boys will go there, do their best, try and win. You know, we're going to try and win the meeting, keep it close. You do not want to let the you don't want to let Scunthorpe run away with it, because if that happens, then you know that's when problems will start. And I mean, you know, we know that Craig Cook goes well around there. You know, his last visit there when he was in the Workington colours, he scored double figures, 13 points, I think. Would have been more, but he had a retirement in his first ride, if my memory serves me right from the information I was gathering before. So. We know
You're doing research. That's not like you.
I know. So we know that Cookie can go well around that place. So that's another thing. But we don't know how Peter Kelderman goes around that place. I would imagine pretty damn well.
Yeah, big and fast. Can open up the throttle. You'd imagine that it would suit Peter to go there as well. Maybe take him a race or two to get in there. But let's see how we go. So if we look at the kind of lineups for the weekend, you've got for Scunthorpe, we'll concentrate on our opponents first of all. Stevie Worrell at number 1. You mentioned about the Kennedys there. They come in at 2 and 3, Zane and Declan respectively. Connor Mountain at 4, Jake Allen 5, Luke Harrison, and then, as I say, Simon Lambert at number 7. Just to concentrate on the kind of reserve matchups over the weekend. As I say, Tom comes into the team for Dale Wood on Friday evening, and returning back into Bandits colours on Saturday night is Freddie Hodder, who replaces Dale as well. That's really a big battle over the 2 nights. I see that as it's going to be a bit of a challenge for Jack Smith and then Tom and Freddie respectively as well, because looking at the form of Luke Harrison this year, he's another one that's just kind of steadily progressing each year, looks to have a lot of talent. When I looked at his home average for it's nearly 9 for Luke Harrison, so that's definitely a weapon down at reserve for around Scunthorpe. It's going to be a massive challenge for the boys, and ultimately that's where a lot of meetings are won and lost down at reserve as well. And again, it's Scunthorpe's the way they've built the team, that they're set up to be strong at reserve regardless to who's down there.
They are indeed, and like you say about Luke Harrison, fantastic rider. He really is progressing so well. You've got age and you've got the youth. You know, at the reserve berth there. Not saying that Berwick's going to be a little bit wet behind the ears going into this. You know, Jack Smith knows his way around Scunthorpe. He'll have done many laps there. Jack Smith scored, you know, on paper, what he scored in Berwick's last meeting, you know, was good, but it could have been more. But he kind of got himself caught up in a bit of dirt and crashed. That'll be something that he'll have had a big think about, and he'll have worked on that with a little bit of the time off the bike that he's had. So he'll be striving to bring more to being a bandit, and I back him on that. I think that he'll do well. But yeah, I think this isn't going to be the pumping that Berwick usually gets at Scunthorpe on Friday night. I think it's going to be good. And like you said, our reserve guest on Saturday, Freddie Hodder, great to see Freddie back in Bandits colours. I think Freddie has stepped up from what we saw last year. Last year really was a sort of apprenticeship for the championship, first season in. And, you know, he did learn his trade, and he took a few hard hits, not so much crashing, but, you know, confidence of last place. But you have to learn, and he's doing great things for Glasgow now. And I think that he'll be welcomed back And we'll be looking forward to seeing Freddie do his thing round Shield on Saturday.
Absolutely. Just to keep it with Scunthorpe ahead of Saturday night's match as well. We mentioned how strong they are at home, and obviously they're set up to have a good home record. But when you look through their team, it's not a team I would say that particularly relishes coming to Shieldfield. When I look at it, Luke Harrison normally has a good crack around there, but I mean, we interviewed Simon Lambert during the winter. He confessed to not particularly liking Berwick very much. Stevie Worrell's had his moments at Berwick, but never really set the heather alight. Jake Allen's the same as well. I think there's a major reason for optimism. I know I'm kind of putting Scunthorpe down a wee bit there, but I don't think I'm being unfair in terms of the fact that you've got maybe a team who doesn't particularly enjoy coming to Shieldfield. I see that as a real positive for us as well. But just looking down our side, so the Bandits will line up with Peter Kilderman moves back into the number 1 spot. Sam Hagan again takes his place at number 2. Daniel moves to 3 for the weekend, where Drew moves back to the number 4 slot with Craig at 5. As we say, we've got Guess at 6, and then Jack Smith at 7 there as well. I just need to touch on Drew because he starts for the start of the season. One thing I would say is that he's just found that level of consistency. Just looking at kind of averages, he's probably averaging about 8.5 both home and away, which is fantastic. We see Craig, he's really coming into his own again round Shieldfield again. Maybe take him a few races to kind of get into it, but again the away form's there. And for Peter, he's averaging about the same. So there's a level of consistency as they're chipping away, getting themselves into the season, I would say. But again, just to kind of focus on Drew, I'm at number 4. Again, Stuart's made that change to move him from 3 to 4 after the one against Poole. What do you think he's thinking is there, Greg, to kind of move Drew down into the kind of 4 berth? Because as it stands at the moment, he's probably a best rider in terms of consistency and numbers anyway.
I think that will be a little bit of a push for Heat 14. I think that's maybe what his job is going to be. If the meetings do get a little bit tighter going into the latter stage of the meeting, yeah, I think that putting Drew there is kind of like you're almost guarantee them 3 points from the Heat 15, and I think that'll Heat 14. Sorry, I think we'll see that happen on both legs this weekend. So I think that's where that's come from, and it's. Yeah, I think it's just a little bit of a strengthening plan from Stuart. We see that, when you've got the way that Sam Hagan's been riding, keeping Sam at 2 is good. He's really been going and doing great things. So it's Stuart knows what he's doing. So yeah, he's got a plan. And,
I think moving to Drew obviously gives a bit of the reserve, a bit of protection in Heat 14 as well. It'll really kind of set up to be stronger later on in both meetings, I would say. If it's to get over the line on Saturday night for the bonus point or whatever it may be, about keeping us in the match or potentially pushing on for a win and Friday evening as well. I think it kind of makes us stronger in the kind of last 5 heats. It's interesting you touched on Sam there as well, because we've seen him having an outstanding meeting against Poole, some of the rides, but what I would say is that from watching Sam in a few of the other meetings, the points may not have been there, but I would say he was probably he's still riding 100%, which is what I would say. Like, he was working hard for the points that he did get. It was buzzing to see him get big points against Poole, but it's about carrying that on now, isn't it? He's kind of, I would say, he's probably found his place in the side in terms of being at number 2, but it's about cementing that place in the top 5 of the team and really nailing down the number 2 spot to build a partnership with either Peter or Craig at number 1.
Yeah, exactly that. And we saw him at the last Berwick meeting where he was maybe struggling being behind Craig for a wee bit. He was certainly going faster than him. Sam has just switched his season around completely, and having him there up to, I do like it. I think that it's a great place for him to ride. Personally speaking, it's not my favourite number to ride. I wouldn't like to be at 2, but Sam's doing well there. You never know; he might end up going back to that engine room. We may see a switch with Sam and Daniel. That could be coming up in the next few meetings. But focusing on this meeting, the meetings that we've got this weekend, I think that it is set to be good over the 2 legs.
Yeah, and just looking at it as well, you want to get wins on the board early as well, and you want to collect a bonus point or 2 along the way. When you've got back-to-back meetings like we have for the weekend coming up, it's an ideal opportunity to get kind of points on the board as well. And at the end of the day, there is a magic number there that will get you qualified for the playoffs. So again, an ideal opportunity to put points on the board and make sure teams aren't kind of getting away from you, especially early doors in the season.
That's exactly it, and the guys will know that. Slip ups now can cost you later on in the season. So this is the real deal. This is the serious stuff. And yeah, the guys will want some silverware. We heard at the start of the season, Craig Cook had said Berwick's not had a lot of silverware, and he'd love to do what he can to bring some up to Shieldfield. And with that mentality, I do like that. Could it be Berwick's year? Well, we'll have to find that out towards the end of the season. But yeah, I'm excited for this weekend. Certainly am.
Absolutely, underdogs are hungry dogs and all that. What matchups are you looking forward to watching? Kind of as an individual heat wise over the weekend, because as I say, that I think there's some well matched races in there. But what would kind of catch your eye? Maybe riders coming up against one another over the weekend, especially Saturday.
I would like to. I'm quite interested to see the Sam Haig and Luke Harrison battle when whatever heat that'll take place in. Put me on the spot, but when that does happen, that's going to be quite good, because we saw them both battling through in the under-21s. Yeah, that's something that I just think that all the matchups look pretty good. Home and away. I think both sides are gonna bring something different. And if I had to pick one rider who I would like to watch for the whole weekend, it's got to be Peter Kilderman, because you've always got that mystery about him. You don't know how you're hoping he's going to go well from a Berwick point of view, but we just don't know what he's going to be doing that night, and it's more than likely going to be spectacular. And Peter really is the entertainer, so I do like watching him on that bike. May not do the big passes or anything like that, but just watching him on his own is class. So yeah, I think that I would say definitely that Sam and Luke Harrison, when they go to battle, that'll be a good one to watch.
Yeah, and for me, I'm interested to see how Daniel does over the weekend. I think you had kind of reported back from meetings that you had been at, where he had been guesting for other sides, that he was riding well, scoring some points and stuff as well. Because it seems to be, from the outside looking in and not having the conversation with Daniel, obviously, it seems to be it's been a bit of a frustrating start to the season in terms of points on the board. We've not quite seen the Daniel that was popping out, beating number ones at the start of last season. But one thing you can guarantee about Daniel really is that he'll chip away and eventually it will come for him.
Well, that's what Daniel does, and he works so hard. Him and the mechanics, they're always doing something. They're always trying something else. Sometimes that can alienate people, but it works for Daniel. He does come out and he does do great things. We saw it last meeting at Berwick. The overtaking that he was doing, he really was getting stuck in. And he guested last week when I was I went down to Redcar. He was worth more than the points that he scored. He was giving it a good go. Some of the, I think when you look, maybe if you're looking on updates and you just see that someone's got third or someone's got a last, does not reflect on what they were doing. He was all over it, you know, trying his best. And if the rider in front had slipped up once, that would have been 2 points, potentially even 3. So he's the mentality's right. It's just the points are not coming through for him at the moment. But it'll happen, and when it does happen, that's going to be massive for Berwick.
You mentioned earlier about the Madsen effect, because obviously you're referencing what happened in the GP and having a point to prove. I would actually say that Leon Madsen had the Jack Smith attitude at the weekend, because Jack's always seems to be that rider who comes into a side maybe during the season and has that point to prove, as in why wasn't I picked at the start of the season. We've had the bits of the benefit to that, as you said, against Poole. He was a wee bit unlucky. Maybe the points didn't reflect again just what the effort and his racing on the evening as well. But Jack, since the last time we spoke on Total Access, the club's decided to take up the option of keeping him for the remainder of the season and giving up the option of keeping Bastien Bork on after his 28-day absence. The club would like to wish Bastien well in the future. As you say, it still looks as if he's kind of recovering for the injuries he suffered last year, and we wish him all the best with that, and hope he's back on track soon and he gets signed up. But from the club's point of view, in taking on Jack, since he's come into the team, he scored those points that we were missing from Bastien, really, weren't we? Because although Bastien only raced two meetings for us, really the points weren't there. And unfortunately, the way Speedway works, we needed someone who was going to come in and score points here and now. Basically, we couldn't afford that passenger who was trying to get himself fit, really. And looking at Jack, he's come into the side and he's did that, and he's been well worth the value at reserve to give us those kind of extra points, really.
Yeah, he has. He's done. You know, he's went above and beyond. Really, he's done more than I think he was expected to, which is taking the pressure off the rest of the team, because you know, Berwick took a risk with signing Bastien, not knowing what the injury was going to be like, and he's now. You know, when Jack came in, it was a kind of a case of pressures maybe on Sam Hagan a little bit for being that, you know, the younger rider who you'd have thought maybe would have been, you know, kept in as a reserve. But yeah, pressure was on the boys. Jack Smith's come in. He's relieved some of that pressure, which has made things that little bit easier. So I think that overall it looks good, and Jack in the pits is always talking to everybody and asking for advice. And I think that if he can keep things going the way things have been going, you know, it is a good advert for the future, that, you know, he knows how to get round these tracks in the championship and mix it with championship level boys. So yeah, good. It's going pretty well for Jack.
Definitely, and at the end of the day, he's come in and he's done his job, what we would have wanted him to do. So it's exactly what we're looking for, Jack, and let's hope that continues as well. It's up to the kind of bigger boys in the team to put the big scores on the board to ensure that we get meetings over the line. Tickets are on sale now at berwickspeedway.com/tickets for Saturday night's match. All the action kicks off at 7 p.m, so make sure you join us at Shieldfield for that. I'm sure Scunthorpe will have their in-house stream for Friday, so if you go to their socials or website, I'm sure you'll be able to pick up details there about how you can stream Friday night's match as well. All it's left to say is until Saturday night's match, and we look forward to seeing you all there for an exciting night of racing. It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.